Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is February the 8th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. I will say, let me just start with a story. It was around midnight for me, getting ready for bed. I was actually like still on my game. I was doing my little card game thing, and I the smoke alarms go off, and I don't know, maybe longtime listeners know, they've heard maybe a faint smoke alarm in the background. I hope at least faint. Hopefully you haven't heard one, but it happens sometimes. People got to cook, and I'm not working out of a studio, cat's out of the bag. So it's okay sometimes. But at 11, who's cooking like 11:50? Like who's cooking like that? That's crazy. Whatever. I'm thinking it's going to go off sooner or later. Then I notice not one smoke alarm is going off, but two. And that's concerning. So I'm perking up, but I gotta say, I'm maybe I don't want to say ashamed. I don't care. I was like, no, I'm finishing this game. It's important to me. So I'm finishing this game. It literally feels like I'm in like a fucking war room. Like, I don't know. It was like DEFCON whatever. It was a little scary. And then I peep out of the peephole, and I notice that, oh my God, it's actually smoky in my apartment complex. So you know what that means? Like, I'm thinking I'm about to have to stop, drop, and roll, get out of here. And I had put on pants. I threw on some Crocs. Felt very tactical. Gotta say, shout out to Crocs. Potentially almost saved my life. And I go out there, and I at least say I didn't, do any pack up or anything weird. I just at least wanted to assess the situation because I wasn't seeing fire, but I was definitely seeing smoke. That's not good. Like that's not inside. That's outside now. And it's smoke everywhere. It smells like food. And I'm like, whoa. And I like, scamper downstairs, and I see a guy, and he's holding the door open. He's eating some kind of like savory fritter or something, some kind of, it almost looked like a hush puppy. And I was like, yo, like, I didn't know what to even say to him. And he goes, I'm sorry. Like, I'm airing it out. It's okay. And I just have this like energy because I'm realizing this guy almost burnt down the whole apartment complex. Like this was a close one this time. Like I said, I hear the smoke alarm. It's not uncommon to hear that. Whatever, that's fine. It's happened to me before. You got to remember to put on the fan. Whatever. But it was a little scary. It was a little nerve wracking. And then not to mention to have to smell like whatever that food was. I didn't like that either. That was annoying. And then here's the piece of resistance. Someone apparently had called police, firefighter, whatever, 911. And I just hear doo doo doo. I'm like, what the fuck? I will say though, it was at least a nice moment because, like, I don't interact with my neighbors much, at all really. And so like my next door neighbors, and pretty much all my neighbors speak like different languages, so that's interesting. So they come out, they're talking a little bit, and they talk to me, and I'm kind of telling them, hey, like, because I came out a few minutes before them, which I also got to say, shout out to my apartment complex. We didn't give a shit. We could have all died last night. No one came out. It was me and my neighbors right next to me. That was it. I thought that was very funny. And like I said, I came out, saw the guy, so I got to do the first assessment. And I'm like, okay, so this is the situation. I guess we're not going to die. And then, like I said, I peeked back out. And then I peeked back out again when I saw that there was, cops and firefighters. Luckily, like I said, everything's still standing. No one got hurt. So yeah, there's personal news. Sorry, I just told you a whole little rant in the preamble. Normally it doesn't go like that. Normally I talk about my food corner. It was a bit of some scran. I made some ramen with some ground beef in it. And then I had, a turkey bacon sandwich on like a bolillo roll. That was really good. Had an extra piece of bread, like some toast. And yeah, ate that up. It was pretty yummy. Oh, and there's also bacon. I put like a piece of bacon in the ramen, put some bacon in the sandwich. So, yeah, it worked out. It all came together. So, and work was work. Typical, usual thing. But yeah, let's go ahead and do the startup, and then we'll go ahead and get into some news, real news, world news. Now, what's happening in my little neighborhood apartment complex. But man, wouldn't that be the way? I die like that. That'd be so stupid. Some dumbass food fire that I didn't even eat. The irony. Especially because I didn't get off of a game. Like, come on. I like Marvel Snap. I've been hooked. That's been like my little pet project. But I shouldn't have done that. I didn't need to finish that game, but I did win. I need a max weed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. We're puckered up, ready to go. From BBC News, U.S. drone strike kills Iran-backed militia leader in Baghdad. A senior commander of an Iran-backed militia has been killed in a U.S. drone strike in Baghdad. A leader of Khalib Hezbollah, and two of his guards were in a vehicle when it was targeted in the east of the Iraqi capital. All three of them died. The Pentagon said the commander was responsible for directing attacks on American forces in the region. The U.S. has linked the militia to a drone attack in Jordan that killed 3 U.S. troops last month. In the wake of the attack, Kataib Hezbollah said it was suspending attacks on American troops to prevent embarrassment to the Iraqi government. Which, I mean, I'm, forever new to, this front, but that was something that I kind of didn't expect. Usually it's either silence or you at least issue a strong message of retaliation and the tit for tat will continue. But something like this, I guess, was big enough for them to be like, okay, we're going to kind of pause, do a little bit of reconfiguring, we'll get back to you here. That's what this feels like. And, that's news in and of itself. But it was a precise strike on a moving vehicle in a busy street, and the car was reduced to a fiery wreck. One of the victims has been identified as Abu Bashir al-Sadi, a senior commander in Kataib Hezbollah. So yeah, I imagine that's probably the target. You're sending that kind of message, like we can hit you anywhere, and wherever, however we want. I do think there's a little bit of spin injection here. I mean, you're going to tell the news as it is. That's totally fine and fair, sure. But to add like, oh, this is a precision strike and no other targets were hit. Okay, literally the last strike we've covered from America, we killed civilians. You know what I mean? So we're over here hot potatoing with that shit, but then we're going to talk about how like steely fucking Dan we were here, right on the money. It's like, okay, cool. But I don't always do this. It's something I've been a little bit more one to do as I've gotten into this shit. I picture what would happen if this was America and just jarble it up, time perspective, whatever. X country hits us the way we hit other countries. The response, we would be talking like it's 9/11, like 3000 every time that shit happens. So it's crazy that people act surprised, Westerners act surprised that it's like, why are we so hated? Why are we so hated across the world? Like, because we go to other countries and we meddle, we do whatever the fuck we want, and then we say it's justified because we're fighting terrorism, we're fighting drugs, blah, 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 blah. But really, it's just we're doing carte blanche with whatever the fuck we want, and we do it with like this sense of entitlement. So, there's a reason that they think we're all devils. You know what I mean? Like, when you look at this shit over and over, time after time, you get it, right? Don't you just put yourself in these people's shoes? You just shouldn't be able to just do this shit however the fuck you want. But, we're America, so I guess we fucking can. It's crazy. It's unsettling, to say the goddamn least. But yeah, they add there are no indications of collateral damage or civilian casualties at this time. I mean, literally, the truck's on fire in the middle of the street. Like, it burned to cinders. Um, the BBC team tried to get close to the burnt down vehicle, but was driven back by onlookers who said journalists were not welcome. You are foreigners, one man shouted, adding, and foreigners are to blame for this. Facts. Goddamn. Chat. Real. The raid comes days after the U.S. launched 85 strikes in the Iraqi-Syria border area in retaliation for the fatal January 28th drone strike on American troops at a base in Jordan. So yeah, I mean, this is an ongoing tit for tat. We will see, what comes, from this moment, of course. I kind of want to do a little bit of a side, talk about what's going on in terms of like the Israel-Palestine situation, just an update. They've been in talks in terms of like ceasefire, hostage release, trade, stuff like that. I don't know though. It definitely seems like it's going to be something that cycles into next week because the talks really aren't going anywhere. The most recent part, Benjamin Netanyahu's kind of just said, look, this is going to keep going until we get total completion. Like, we want to eliminate Hamas. Like, he's going to keep saying that. And I think they recently just reported, like, hey, like, we've confirmed, like, there was, like, 30 more hostages that have died. Like, we've gotten those confirmations of numbers. And you would think that would prompt more, tenacity to say, hey, let's at least get these people home. And really what Hamas wants is a permanent ceasefire. Like, at least something that puts us on a road to that. And Benjamin Netanyahu, top brass, they're like, no, that's not going to happen. We are going to eliminate Hamas in whatever way that fucking means. I mean, it still looks and feels and breathes and walks and talks and squawks like a genocide, like an ethnic cleansing. But they don't care, and no country's really, standing up to stop them. I mean, we're literally just hands up their asses about it, as Americans. So, another reason people, once again, look at us like we're the goddamn devil. But, yeah, there's that. What shit? There's also Congress. There's a whole other thing, but I feel like we've already kind of talked about that in passing in recent episodes. It's the same old bullshit there. Congress is not doing anything, which I still think is kind of funny because that means Ukraine's not getting aid, Israel's not getting aid, to fund their fucking shit. But yeah, I mean, we're battling over the border. It's despicable. It's disgusting to see how Democrats carry on and are acting like they're doing these like fucking chess moves on conservatives when really they are aligning themselves with conservatives on these border policies, on these policies that are going to more or less weaken asylum rights for people, for migrants. It's fucking despicable. It's the kind of shit that just makes me go like, bro, like I try to be hee hee ha ha, like I'm a liberal, but it's like, it's disgusting. Like, these people are gross. Like, Chuck Schumer is just a shoe, dude. I don't like it, man. It bums me out. Anyway, we'll call that covered. I'm talking about this now, so I don't have to talk about it tomorrow. There's so much news. I'm swimming in it. Anyway, let's move on to the next bump. From my brain leaks out of my nose. From the Associated Press, Marine Corps confirms the worst. All 5 troops killed in helicopter crash in California mountains. So this is a story update from yesterday. Sadly, it is bad news. The helicopter carrying 5 Marines that crashed during stormy weather in the mountains outside San Diego was a CH-53 Super Stallion designed to fly through bad weather, even at night. Let me fast forward a bit. The military confirmed Thursday that all 5 Marines were killed when their helicopter went down during stormy weather, and efforts were underway to recover their remains. So, yeah, I mean, where I'd left up the story, they were able to confirm, like, hey, we know where it is. We just can't get to it right now. The terrain's too rough. The weather's too bad. It looks like now they were able to, but they were only able to confirm the worst. Maybe they already kind of knew, that kind of how it's kind of how it is. Sometimes the situation kind of looks away, and maybe if I had watched footage, maybe I would have been like, oh shit. But inevitably it comes to light how it's going down. They haven't released the names as of yet, but there's all the statements and stuff here in the article if you want to read that. But yeah, I just wanted to at least put that out there so that we were updated as a group. So there's that. Let's go ahead and move along. Ta-ta. This was a story that's popped on my radar yesterday from the Associated Press. A sniper killed a Florida bank robber as he held a knife to a hostage's throat. This was like some straight out of a movie, Call of Duty ass shit. I'm not trying to big up cops or anything like that at all. But yeah, this is definitely something I just wanted to cover when I heard the story. As officers try to get a would-be bank robber in Florida to surrender, the man decided to take two hostages. Then he put one of them in a headlock and held a knife to her throat. And that's when a sheriff's sniper ended it. The 36-year-old attempted robber, who claimed to have a bomb, died. But the woman he tried to use as a shield, the other hostage, and everyone else at the scene just outside Fort Myers escaped without injury. No, Associated Press. I'm already a part of the afternoon wire. Leave me alone. And then I got a Johnsonville fucking Johnson ad just popped right in my face. Ugh, there's a big old sausage right in my way. The robbery attempt, hostage situation, and sniper fire brought a bustling suburban area lined with chain restaurants, hotels, and outdoor mall and office buildings to a terrifying halt around lunchtime, Tuesday, as Lee County Sheriff Office responded with tools including a robotic dog, drones, a battering ram, and a SWAT team. The whole fucking kitchen sink, or everything but, I should say. The sheriff didn't say where the sniper shot down or where the sniper shot from, but SWAT members had surrounded the bank. Video on the sheriff's office Facebook page shows several deputies standing, rifles raised, near an entrance to the bank alongside the negotiator, who talks with the man seconds before shots rang out. Other video from outside the bank shows a deputy being raised in a platform with an armored front loader. This feels kind of unfucking necessary. In a way, I feel like this kind of sums it up in a certain kind of let's see. I didn't even know the county had this. Local radio host Charlie Lopez, who observed the scene as he got lunch near the Bank of America branch, told Fox 4 News. He watched the sniper shooting from his car and provided details to his Facebook followers. To me, it's like obviously very cool, very great that this ended with the kind of, you could say, is most minimum incident you could incur here, being that the suspect got hostages, has them at knife point. But just the level of like the arsenal used and deployed here seems so unnecessary. I get it though that you have the negotiator, you have people who have arms on this man. They're trying to negotiate with him. They're trying to talk him down, and he's not going to he's only going to potentially escalate. I get it. I understand. But like, do you really need the fucking SWAT like Colin Farrell, LL Cool J like, once again, Call of Duty-esque warfare for this situation? It does kind of seem like fucking overkill to have to shut down the whole block in this kind of way. Granted, I have covered these kind of bank robberies before. They do get fucking gully. The shit is fucking crazy. And sometimes it's not a knife, we are real Americans, so we could just bust out a fucking AR right out of our fucking asshole, like, give me your money, I hate this place. It could be any reason, it could go out anywhere. So I understand, I get it, and I will tell you, the history of these things are very classic of, there's always like one moment in the town or the city or some place nearby, and some shit happened and maybe a cop died because like, oh, they had all this war, they had all these automatics or whatever, and we just had what we had, and we couldn't even stand up to them, and we knew never again, and sure enough, never a fucking again. These motherfuckers could roll up on an armored tank on your ass if they wanted to. But yeah, I mean, hell, having a whole ass fucking, I think they had drones. Like, we're using that shit in the Middle East, and we're using that shit in the streets. I don't know. It does seem like a bit much for muchness. That's really what I'm getting at here. But that being said, I'm glad that no hostage was harmed. In that regard. And yeah, like I said, minimum incident for whatever that's worth in a situation where someone dies. Okay, that's all I have to say about that part. I have one more thing to yap about before I let you go. Let me take my last break, and then we will get into it. Oi, oi, oi. Oi, 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 oi. Okay, from Fox 4. Toxicology report back on 3. Kansas City men found dead outside home. Fox 4 has confirmed police have received a toxicology report Thursday from the investigation into 3 Kansas City men found dead outside a Northland home last month. Also, I got to add, the last time I brought this story up, I didn't mention the name of the potential suspect. It's potential alleged. I gotta say all that. Throw up all those little quotations. It was Jordan Willis, and essentially the story goes. I'm gonna just kind of do a little bit of riffing here. They this is post a Kansas City Chief game. I believe they lock it up, and they're going to be going to the Super Bowl. It's a big game. It's pretty cold out. They're saying it's like freezing temperatures. When I say freezing temperatures, though, I say like around the 30s. They're kind of having a little bit of an after party. They're hanging out. They're having a good time. Group of guys, dudes rock, hell yeah. And they're partying. Night goes on. Guys don't wind up coming home. Time goes by. Next thing you know, fast forward a bit, 3 men are more or less confirmed dead. This man has been in the house, Jordan Willis, and people were texting him, trying to get a hold of him. Eventually, it gets so bad that people wind up breaking in. The cops have to find out, coming to the house. They discover that, okay, 3 people have died here. And there's just been a lot of rumor, suspicion, what's going on. And I know last, where we left it off, I got a burp coming. Ooh. That was healthy. Where we last left off, there really weren't many answers. I wanted to wait until a toxicology report. Also, I had found out that, and it states this in the article, that Jordan Willis no longer lives at this home. He was renting it. And he's now in rehab. So there's that. And I was talking to some people, talking to, some listeners and stuff like that, which I love. I love when you guys, like I said, talk to me about news. I love that shit. That's something that, like, gets me more geared up to, like, dig deeper into a story. So I really fucking appreciate it. But we were talking about it, and, like, it really did get me thinking, because I kind of heard this story once, and I, listened to the story, here and there. And I was like, man, I'm buying the freezing. Like, it's just so cold out, Midwestern temperatures. They're drinking a lot. They're partying too hardy. But it's like, no, there's a little bit more to the story, Isaiah. You should maybe, think about it, dig a little bit, and thinking about it, it's like, yeah, 32 degrees is pretty bad, but you would think in that kind of situation, okay, maybe you're locked out of the house and you can't get in. Okay, this is crazy. This is unfortunate. But your car is like down the street. You should be able to like call somebody, like do something. Something's weird here. Something's not adding up. And once again, got away on this toxicology report. So I'd heard, pray tell of leaks of the toxicology report, or at least enough that people were hearing like, hey, they had like THC in their system. They had cocaine in their system. But most importantly, there was fentanyl in their system. So that kind of starts to paint the picture. And I kind of wanted to wait until I got more of that, because I haven't heard or seen the official toxicology report. But essentially they're saying, hey, sources tell Fox 4 the report details several substances, including cocaine, fentanyl, were found in the men's systems. So that's one of those situations where it's like, oh, it's probably some fentanyl-laced cocaine, which sadly, if you're not checking it, you're not testing it, it can be very easy to happen. That's really sad. And next thing you know, It's lights out permanently. And I'm imagining for Jordan Willis, who I found out is I think he's like an HIV scientist. Don't hold me to that. I think I like skimmed that from the Daily Mail. But he was just partying with his friends. And also it's important that 3 of these people died, but I think it was like a party of 5. So some people did wind up making it home. Their cars were literally down the street, and around near the house. So some of the guys made it home. They texted him. And now Jordan Willis, or at least like through his attorney, like John Picarino, something like that, are saying no, he didn't get those messages. He only got like a few of them or whatever. He's kind of playing like he didn't see them, but it's like, no, like we definitely see you text messages. And then there was also like Facebook messages, like via other, mediums of messaging. It's like, and I hate them when people try to play like that. Like, bro, you saw it. Don't play dumb. Some people are like, well, I muted it, da 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 da. Like, no, come on now. Like, something's wrong here. You weren't just having a big old nappy poo for like 2 days. Come on, brother. That's a little bit of a stretch. But yeah, he's in rehab, Mr. Willis. So that's more or less where we're leaving it, I guess. I don't know if the toxicology report, when it officially drops, is going to tell us any more than what we already kind of know now. They are also, I guess, before I finish it off, it looks like right now they are not charging him. They are very emphatic that he has not been charged. He's allowed to leave and go to rehab and do his shit and be in the wind. So, that kind of goes back to my other point way back when we, initially talked about this. I say way back. It was like not even a week, maybe, whatever. Time is a flat circle. Oh, no, I lost my point. I totally lose my, oh man. Criminal negligence. That is, I feel like an important thing to talk about, to think about, to ponder over, they're kind of saying like, oh man, they just partied too hardy, but it's like, yeah, but these people died in your house and it kind of seemed like you were just going to move in silence about it. Like you were just going to chill. That doesn't seem okay, especially when literally the family knows that this is the last place they were and you were just gonna ignore them. Like, doesn't at some point that feel a little criminal? Maybe. Am I crazy for that? Anyway, I'm glad I got that thought out. I would have racked my brain with pain if I didn't get that out. I have to yap. It's yap or die, baby. Okay, that's it. That's all I have. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for listening. This felt like a really good episode. I got all the ghosts out of my body. Like, it feels good. I yapped a lot. I covered a lot. I feel good. And I hope you feel good listening. And if you don't, well, that's a bummer. But there's ways to talk to me. There's ways to reach out. There's ways to support and enrich this whole experience. Let me start there. Patreon.com/Isaiah News if you'd like to support the effort. Free ways to hit me up. Let's see, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Socials, I'm on them. You can find me or the podcast. Do that if you'd like. Another thing I'd love for you to do, subscribe to me on YouTube. Please, 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 please. It would help out a lot. Means a lot. Hit that thumbs up, like button. Leave a cool, quirky comment. Don't leave a negative one. That'd be lame. Leave the negative comments for the email. You should have to go out of your way. That's what I think. But I mean, I guess it's good for the algorithm. You can tell me how much you don't like Democrats. I mean, I guess, yeah, me too. Yeah, you're right. So talk your shit, King, Queen, MB, do it. Anyway, what else we got? That's it. That's all I wanted to say. So hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah.